What's up guys, my name is Tyler and today I'm going to give you guys post-plant setups for Haven. If you decide against using your trips for lurking and play more aggressively, you can use these setups to guarantee a round win once you plant the bomb. Real quick before I start, I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern and also on Sunday nights around 8 p.m. Eastern. Those Sunday night streams we like to play with viewers and subs, so go follow me over there, the link is in the description. We also have a Discord server with a bunch of people always talking about stuff like this. Link for that is in the description too. Like the video and subscribe for more Valorant content and comment down below what you guys want to see next. I hope you guys enjoy this video. So for A, generally you're going to see the bomb planted anywhere in this area right here. And for defending on this area, once the bomb goes down, most of the time the main focus is going to be on this door over here and Heaven. So for those, you could trip anywhere here, which you're probably going to want to trip it more back in there. So if somebody hits that tripwire, you can play off of it more effectively from pretty much anywhere on site. You could also trip over here, but these are a bit tougher because if you're holding pretty much anywhere and you're just holding the angle altogether, you're not going to be able to take advantage of this tripwire because they'll peek the corner and see you from pretty much anywhere before they hit the tripwire. So unless you're waiting for them to trip it, which you could do, that wire isn't going to be as effective. So you just have to pick your playstyle first. If you want to wait for them to trip it and peek the angle, or if you just want to hold the angle the whole time, then you're going to be better off with different tripwires depending on the situation. Heaven is a lot harder to trip because if you do plant A, you're not really going to want to walk out here because there could be enemies rotating from any direction. And that just gives you a whole lot of extra steps of checking and being safe so you don't die. So you're going to want to stay on site more often. But if you are out here for whatever reason and you can get up to Heaven, you can just trip anywhere just to let you know that they're coming up there. Or if you're up here already, putting your tripwire here would be a good place just so you can hang out on the corner and play it if they trip it, or even down here a little further. Just to give you an option. But generally you're not going to be up that far, especially if you're Cypher. So an option to watch Heaven would to be have a camera up here. And just literally hold here with the camera, just watching to see if anybody goes up there. That camera will get shot out, but you'll know if somebody is in Heaven, and you'll be able to communicate to your team to watch that spot. If you do want to be a little bit safer and watch the flanks, that's something you're going to have to determine before you push anyway, because if you're just going to be watching the flanks, you're going to want to use your tripwires back here and places like this, just so you know if enemies are coming, and you're going to be hanging back here anyway if you're lurking. But for this video, I'm explaining more post-plant setups for being more aggressive. So assuming you aren't lurking, holding around here is a good idea just to make sure that nobody's coming up long. And also in here as well. A tripwire like this is hard to shoot out and good for you to play off of. And if the bomb is down somewhere like this around here, you could put your tripwire somewhere on site. Around here, if you put it low, it's easier to place, but you can get these up high in certain spots. You can put your tripwires here or over here even too.
I have dropped the spike.
And that will give you an extra couple seconds before the bomb goes off for your enemies to have something else to deal with, just so they can't get the defuse off as quickly. So those are some good on-site tripwires. You can also put them in places like this, just for really to throw enemies off. And if you have cameras anywhere along here, this wall is a good way to watch site, or up on this wall, or back here. You could really play around this box pretty effectively with your vision that you'll have. It's hard to get your camera into good spots from down here because you are so low. You can try and find camera spots from up here, but you're really not going to find anything crazy. So generally you're going to want to put your camera in not really an obvious spot, but a more vulnerable spot, just so you can get the vision that you need, because it's already, the other team is already pressed for time anyway. So them taking the time to shoot out the camera and you having the information of exactly where they are is always effective to have and very important. So having it shot out is not as big of a deal. The round is going to end within 45 seconds of the bomb going down anyway, so getting the camera shot out really doesn't matter in the end. So those are the setups for A. You're going to really want to focus on holding the bomb itself and delaying as long as you can and staying alive so you can play off your tripwires and cameras. You're going to want to have teammates watching the other main two spots more so, and you just hang back waiting for your tripwires to go off. Those are the main strategies I usually like to use as Cypher. Now for B, this one you can get a little bit more creative with your wires because the two main spots are right there.
I have dropped the spike.
And right here. Those are your two spots for the tripwire. I mean for the bomb to be planted. And when that happens, you can trip these two corners here on either side.
Here.
And if the bomb is in the corner, the enemies will definitely hit those a whole lot. I see the bomb get planted here a lot too.
Dropped the spike.
And from here you can also trip just on the edge here. And over here too. This one you can get even closer. But for this particular example, if you know that there's only a few enemies left and you know that they're on site, you can even hold somewhere like this. If you can get this one, you should put this one back a little bit further actually. if you're confident that this is empty and no one's going to come out of this way either, you can hold this bomb site right here, right in the middle of this staircase, and then just play off of whatever tripwire they hit. You can give yourself a little bit more breathing room by putting these further out too. And now you know that enemies won't be able to peek you from either edge of the door without tripping your tripwire first, so you can just stand right here and play off whichever tripwire the enemy hits first. So most of the time you're going to want to have your team plant the bomb in one of those 3 spots, just so you can use your tripwires most effectively, and also use this whole area back here too, because also if you are deciding to lurk too, you're going to want to have this spot watched back there, that whole spot over there, and over here too. If you have confidence that those spots are locked down, you can definitely hang out over here a little bit more, or you can even hang in this corner too, and just play from right here too, in any of those spots really. Even if the bomb is here, or here, in any of those 3 spots, you can still play in this cubby too, and have yourself kind of safe from those angles and most of those up to right here, just by sitting in this corner. So those are some really effective spots when the bomb is planted there. You're going to want to avoid having the bomb planted anywhere on the back of site. That's just harder to defend overall, especially with all those spots. But if you do have it there, you can always play it back of here, which is the most obvious spot, and just have places tripped, just generally the doorways, or even better yet, over here, because this does cover this doorway of them pushing this way, and it also covers them coming from the middle and straight through this way. So you're kind of covering 2 entrances with one bomb, with one tripwire.
I've dropped the
If
spike.
the bomb is down over here. You can also do that here by putting the tripwire on this wall. That'll work too to cover both this doorway and anybody walking through this way. So with those 2 tripwires, you can pretty much cover the entire site if the bomb is planted back here. I just think it's more effective to have the bomb planted up front, and it gives your teammates more options too. Now for cameras, generally when pushing this site, I like to either use my camera up here to get vision on site, or you could also put it on this side. If you're pushing up on that side anyway, you can see most of the site here too and get clear all the closer corners. You can leave those cameras up the whole time just to give yourself more vision on site, and if you're playing somewhere like this, you'll be able to see a whole lot more, and it'll be very effective for you when defending a bomb plant. Or if you didn't use your camera yet, you can put it somewhere outside to get more vision of the rotation from either bomb site. When playing on C, you're generally going to see the bomb planted in an area around here, just so most of the time you have your team wanting to plant it so long can defend it a little bit more. If you saved all your trips and everything like that and you didn't use them back there and you're not holding long yourself, which as Cypher I think is the best choice because you can camera it and just hold out here. And you can leave that camera hidden until they hit the bomb once to see if they can fake you out with the sound. You can just let them fake out the sound and then wait a second, then look on the camera to see if they're actually defusing or not. Then you can decide if you want to shoot them or just keep on waiting longer. So if you are deciding with that playstyle and you are lurking a little bit more and just using your tripwires, putting the wire back here is always a good choice. Lurking overall, again, is always a better choice for Cypher, but also we're talking about post-plant setups when you're not lurking. So my main setup that I like to do when that bomb is planted there, I do like to have my tripwire here and even one right here too, if I don't put one on site, and just lurk and wait for them to go and defuse the bomb anywhere where it's set up, and then just use the stairs here so you can have better accuracy than if you go here and fall. You're going to be better off on the stairs. Just use the camera to watch and then play off of any tripwires that might get tripped. That is my favorite style for this, for defending C post plant. But if you are looking to be more on site and be more of a presence up close, tripping back here is always a good idea. Just be very careful with these tripwires, because if you are just looking at the doorway here and what's a good height for this, it could be very easily jumped over because of the stairs. So you're going to want to have these probably as far as possible over and high enough so they can't jump over from the stairs, or just put it at the top of the stairs. Putting it at the top of the stairs is probably better because it's easier to play off the tripwire that's deep in there, rather than putting the tripwire all the way over here and decently high enough for them not to be able to jump over it. Because if you're holding something like right here, they're going to trip that wire and have clear vision of you before you're able to get the jump on them. So generally, wire back there is a better choice. For garage, you could either trip the window or the double doors, but the only issue with that is you're only blocking one of the 2 sites, and you're going to want to try and put it over here, anywhere in here. You could go really deep with it and play close and just hope that they hit that tripwire and you can play it from here, but then you're kind of in a weird spot over here with 2 completely opposite angles to worry about, unless you have a teammate there. So generally, you could put this one a little bit further out and play somewhere on site, or even somewhere down here, So you can hold this angle primarily, and then when you see that tripwire go, you can just move over a little bit and get that shot off. Or you can play it somewhere back of sight over here. If you know that you have long covered, you can play somewhere over here. Put that tripwire deeper back and this one up close, or you can put that tripwire deep and then hold somewhere like this a little bit more to play off of that tripwire. You can switch it up a whole lot. And as for tripwires on the site itself, really one of the only spots you have is right over here on this part of the bomb site, which this tripwire can be dodged pretty easily by going all the way over here, but that usually takes way too much time for a team to worry about. So that's either going to be shot out or hit. So that's a good option there. And then your other option is over here. When you're lining up this wire though, use it on this side instead of putting it over on this side of the logs, because these are weird and you could end up accidentally putting the wire like this, which an enemy can just walk right under without even knowing the trap is there. So definitely use this over here. And those are two on-site tripwires that you can use to slow down the enemies a little bit more. And you can even play some weird angles too if you wanted to. If you have confidence that your teammate is holding long and garage is held too, you can play off these tripwires a little bit too. And for other cameras, this one is always a good choice, especially again for holding right here. You have sight of where the bomb probably is going to be planted, and you can also see at least a little bit towards the full flank, which is another important spot that you need to watch. And for on-site, you could, if you push through garage, you can use any of the typical defensive setup cameras here. You can just put them, get up on this spot here or up here and put it anywhere in here really. You'll get full sight of garage. You can try and favor getting more sight towards the courtyard, or you can favor towards getting more sight into the window itself by putting the camera either somewhere like right here will give you both. You can see into courtyard a bit more and see all of garage. Better yet, you can put the camera somewhere like this. You can really see deep in there and see if anybody's pushing through. And you'll be able to see here too. Or your last option really is pretty much anywhere on site. If you do decide to push up and you're up there early and you're not the one planting the bomb, you can get up onto the platform and you have pretty much everywhere on site here to put your camera. You can put it up there. This is another really hard one to see too. Enemies aren't going to be looking this high. Again, a typical one that I like to use on defense is up here too. You get a lot of vision on site and also vision of the bomb if you have it planted there. Also, you can just put it this spot too over here, back here, that I was just showing. This will see more of the back site too. So anywhere you plant, you can find a camera somewhere on site for you to watch. So those are your camera options and also your tripwire options for most of for all of the sites. And as far as traps go, use these at your own discretion. There are a few one ways. I went over a couple in other videos. There's one up here. You can land it pretty consistently up here. There's a specific lineup for it. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. This gives you a decent one way going back here.
Cage triggered.
There's also a typical one that I always like to set up for long by just throwing it right into this.
Cage
and the further back you are, the better off you are, seeing all the way down towards long. Those are a couple one ways you can use. There's also a one way for this up here that you can line up. There's a few one ways for C, and as for A and B, there really aren't many. So you could just use your traps just to hit the bomb a little bit, just to try and prevent them from pushing in towards the bomb. Just use those, get creative with those too, because also the problem with one way is they take a long time to set up. So those aren't usually the best option. You're gonna have to be a little bit more dynamic with those traps and using them whenever you can. So that's it for this one, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the post-plant setups. Again, check me out on Twitch and join the Discord server. You can also find the rest of the maps that I covered on my channel, and also they'll be in the description down below. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and comment what else you guys want to see. Thanks again for watching.